In a town that lives on salvage, a rumor is worth more than copper. This is a story about the price of one. The town sits at the end of the last maintained road in the world, and it survives by picking the bones of the drowned and ruined places beyond its wall. Salvage crews go out in the morning and come back before dark, and everything they bring home crosses one set of scales. What the scales say, you get paid. But there is one buyer in town who does not use the public scales. They call him the assayer. He buys one thing, a certain kind of old wire wound on a core, pulled up from the deep ruins. He pays triple, in clean coin, and he never asks where it came from, who carried it, or what it cost. In a town where every coin is counted twice, a buyer who asks no questions is its own kind of warning. That week, the rumor ran through every drinking house. The assayer was buying again. The morning after the rumor peaked, 14 crews signed the gatebook for a deep run. A deep run means the drowned streets, the sunken quarter of the old world where whole streets stand underwater, and the good salvage, the sealed goods, the strong boxes, the wire, waits in the dark below the waterline. It is the richest ground the crews can reach, and the rule of thumb is simple: the better the salvage, the worse the ground. The Pitwell crew signed out 5 names that morning. Dree Pitwell led it, 20 years on the road, careful, respected at the gate. Pelner Rennet, Dolby Dag, Ebba Nethermere, and Orard Marshlaw, 20 years old, the youngest of them, and Dree's husband. A crew that had always come home with modest hauls and all hands. Scrap copper, cord fibre, nothing worth triple, nothing worth a rumour. This time, they went deep with everyone else. What happened down there comes from the crew, told quietly, and never all at once. They found a street the water had half given back, and a house with its door above the waterline. Inside, the walls were marked where the tide had stood, and at the far end of the front room there was a doorway with no door, and a darkness behind it that did not move when the lanterns did. Good salvage sits behind doors like that. Orard went through first, roped at the waist, the way you wade deep water. The rope went tight. Then his voice. Then nothing. What was in that doorway never showed itself whole. It never does. The crew saw the lantern light bend around something that was not there, and heard, under the water sounds, a ringing with no bell in it. They burned every grain of salt the 5 of them carried, thrown by the fistful into the dark, and they put iron into a blackness that gave and closed like water, and they hauled on that rope like men pulling a drowning man off the bottom. The doorway let him go. Nobody in that crew will say it any other way, not that they won, that it let him go. He was breathing. His leg was not right, and one side of him was cold to the touch and stayed cold through 2 shirts and a coat. There was salvage in that house. Maybe the coil itself, maybe triple pay, sitting in the dark, a room away. Dree Pitwell did not spend 1 minute on it. They rigged a carry from rope and pack frames, and they brought Orard up out of the drowned streets and 11 miles home along the Bell Road, 4 of them under his weight, stopping at every single post to ring. The bells are what keep the road a road. Hurt or not, late or not, you ring every one. They came through the gate at 7 in the evening, last of the 14. The keeper looked at their empty scales line and wrote the only thing the ledger has room for, signed back in light. No haul worth the scales. Then the town did what the town does. The one man in the lower quarter who passes for a surgeon set the leg and said 3 days in bed, and was wrong by a month. Dree sat the first night in a chair and did not sleep. That evening, the drinking houses were loud with luck. A strongbox here, sealed goods there, a handbell pulled up still true. One crew even brought up a sealed brass hand with 7 fingers, and the tax clerks argued about it for an hour. Shares went around. Rounds got bought. The Pitwell table was quiet, and nobody in that town is fool enough to think that made them the poor ones. 13 crews came back with treasure. 1 came back with everyone. The assayer, they say, is still buying, still paying triple, still asking no questions. And the crews still go because the town has to eat, and the rumour is always worth more than the copper until the day it costs more instead. As for Orad Marsh-law, 3 days in bed became a month of limping, and a month of limping became a morning at the gate. The next deep run the Pitwell crew signed, his name went into the book with the rest, and when the gate opened, he walked out first. 20 years old. You can decide for yourself whether that is courage or youth. His crew decided a long time ago. They just walk behind him, and they keep the rope coiled close.